Children have always played. Long before video games, toy stores, and cartoons, kids thousands of years ago filled their days with make-believe, laughter, friendly competition, and tiny treasures carefully made by hand. And what's so incredible is this. Despite the centuries between us, the toys ancient children loved aren't so different from the things modern kids still enjoy. A wooden doll with painted eyes, a clay animal shaped by tiny hands, a spinning toy carved by a parent after a long day of work. Even the earliest toy weapons, miniature bows, small shields, and wooden swords, reveal something universal about childhood. Kids pretended to be heroes, hunters, warriors, and explorers long before stories were ever written down. Today, we journey back then to explore the toys of the ancient world across Egypt, Mesopotamia, the Indus Valley, Greece, Rome, China, Mesoamerica, and more to discover what kids played with, what parents crafted, and how these simple objects shaped early childhood. Because in every era, a toy isn't just a toy. It's a window into the world of a child long ago. Ancient Egypt. Toys for little pharaohs and village children alike. When we think of ancient Egypt, we imagine grand temples, golden tombs, desert caravans, and mighty pharaohs. But behind all that majesty were families, mothers grinding grain, fathers carving wood, and children running barefoot along the Nile banks, laughing, exploring, and of course, playing. Egyptian toys are some of the best preserved in the world, thanks to the dry desert climate. Many were placed in tombs as symbols of childhood, meaning we have real toys that children once held thousands of years ago. Toy dolls, friends for life. Egyptian dolls weren't just playthings, they were treasured companions. Some were carved from wood, with carefully painted eyes, braided string hair, and simple linen dresses. Others were made from stuffed cloth, filled with reeds or papyrus fibers. Wealthy families might gift their children dolls with more detailed features, like bead necklaces or hair made from real human fibers. But the most charming part is that many dolls were shaped to look like ordinary people, not royalty. Kids didn't dream of being pharaohs. They played as mothers, fathers, farmers, and neighbors. Clay and wooden animals. The Nile in miniature. Egyptian kids adored tiny toy animals, cows, goats, dogs, monkeys, even hippos and crocodiles. Carved or molded by hand, these toys let children recreate daily life on the Nile. A little boy might push a toy ox as if plowing a field. A little girl might guide a miniature donkey carrying baskets. Some toys even had wheels. Imagine a small wooden crocodile tugged along by a string, bumping across the sand as children giggled behind it. Toy boats, sailing without getting wet. The Nile was everything to Egyptian life, and kids recreated that world with toy boats made of wood, reeds, or even small pieces of pottery. Some had tiny painted oars, others featured figures of rowers or fishermen. Children floated them in irrigation canals or shallow pools, little adventures on water mirroring the real boats that sailed past daily. Spinning toys and rattles, early entertainment. Egyptian children used a variety of small amusements. Spinning tops carved from wood or bone. Rattles filled with pebbles, often shaped like sacred animals. Throwing sticks used like boomerangs. Balls made of leather stuffed with straw. Many were used during festivals or gatherings, proof that play was woven into the rhythm of Egyptian life. Mesopotamia, playtime in the world's first civilization. Now we move east to the ancient lands between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, Mesopotamia, birthplace of cities, writing, and some of the oldest toys ever found. While adults built the world's first governments, markets, and libraries, Kids were in the streets, shaping clay into animals, racing carts, and practicing future adult roles through imaginative play. Clay animals, the oldest toys known to history. Some of the earliest toys ever discovered come from Mesopotamia. Tiny clay animals with hand-shaped legs, horns, and snouts. Sheep and goats were the most common, reflecting the pastoral world children grew up in. Archaeologists have found thousands of them, meaning every home likely had a handful of little creatures roaming the floor. Wheeled animal toys, pulling little herds. Around 4,000 years ago, Mesopotamian craftsmen began adding tiny wheels to their toy animals. Suddenly, play became mobile. Children tugged along oxen, dogs, and horses using strings made of twisted fibers. These rolling toys are among the earliest examples of wheels being used for anything, further proving that sometimes innovation begins in the hands of a child. Dolls with real hair and beads. Much like in Egypt, dolls were central to childhood. Some Mesopotamian dolls had movable arms. Others wore little bead necklaces. Wealthy families sometimes added real human or sheep hair to their dolls, making them feel more lifelike. But the clay dolls with detailed facial features have also been found, showing that parents put tremendous love into these creations. Miniature tools and symbolic play. Kids played with tiny clay pots, miniature grinding stones, small wagons and carts, toy bows and slings. These weren't just toys, they were practice for adult life. A child learning how to pretend grind grain or pretend hunt was preparing for real responsibilities. Board games, teaching strategy early. Mesopotamia also invented some of the world's earliest board games. One called the Game of 20 Squares was popular among both adults and children. Played with dice-like pieces, it involved strategy, luck, and pattern recognition. It proves something universal. The desire to win is as old as civilization itself. Indus Valley Civilization, the toys of a mysterious world. The Indus Valley Civilization remains one of history's most enigmatic societies, a place of organized cities, advanced engineering, and peaceful urban life. But among the ruins of Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa, archaeologists discovered something unexpected: children's toys. Beautiful, creative, whimsical toys. The Indus dancing girl pose, miniature toys in motion. Indus Valley craftsmen made tiny human figurines with arms spread or angled as if dancing. These figurines weren't religious idols, they were toys. You can almost imagine a child moving them across the floor, recreating festivals, music, and gatherings. Animal carts, rolling fun across stone streets. One of the most iconic Indus toys is the wheeled cart, a bull with turning wheels, a little seated driver, sometimes even a movable head. Kids would pull them behind them as they walked through narrow alleys or open courtyards. These toys were durable, charming, and surprisingly well crafted. Spinning tops and clay marbles, simple joys. Indus children owned clay marbles, carved spinning tops, dice-like objects for simple games. Some archaeologists believe kids played a marble shooting game similar to today's tumbang preso, or classic schoolyard marble battles. Whistles shaped like birds. Indus parents made tiny ceramic whistles shaped like birds. When blown, they sounded like chirping sparrows or quails. A small toy, but one filled with magic.
Ancient China, toys across dynasties. Across the vast landscapes of ancient China, from rural villages to bustling imperial cities, children played with toys that blended fun, imagination, and philosophy. Chinese society valued balance, creativity, and learning, and their toys reflected that beautifully. Kite flying, play that touched the sky. The Chinese invented the world's first kites. At first, they were used by the military to send signals or measure distances, but it didn't take long before children claimed them as toys of wonder. Kids flew bird-shaped kites, dragon kites rippling in the wind, square or diamond frames covered in colorful silk. Imagine a child running across a field outside Laoyang, laughing as a bright red dragon kite soared high against misty mountains. For families, kite flying was joy, relaxation, and sometimes even symbolic, letting go of worries as the kite rose into the sky. Shadow puppets, the first pop culture story time. Long before television or even printed books, Chinese children sat around lantern-lit screens watching shadow puppet shows. Made of thin leather or paper, puppets had flexible arms, painted details, and rods to control them. Children often made their own simple puppets at home, creating stories with animals, mythical beings, or brave heroes. It was play mixed with art and early storytelling, and the tradition still survives today. Spinning tops and whip tops. Chinese kids played with spinning tops carved from wood or bone, but one unique version was the whip top. A larger top kept spinning by whipping it with a small rope. Kids competed to see whose top spun longest. Clay animals and miniature figurines. Chinese pottery culture is thousands of years old, and even the simplest clay scraps often ended up in children's hands. Kids shaped clay into pigs, chickens, or ducks, tiny horses, little human figures, warriors for imaginative battles. Many figurines have been buried in villages, often cracked from years of intense play. Ancient Greece. Toys of myth, sport, and daily life. Greek society valued physical activity, imagination, and education, and their toys show it. Children played games tying them to mythology, storytelling, and athleticism. Knucklebones, or astragaloi, were one of the most popular games in Greece. Kids used sheep ankle bones, carved bones, or clay or stone replicas. They tossed, flipped, and caught them in various patterns. Some versions were pure fun. Others involved strategy or gambling. Even adults joined in. Toy horses, chariots, and miniature soldiers. Greek boys loved toy soldiers and miniature chariots. With Greece divided into city-states, war and heroism were common themes in daily life and myths. Children reenacted scenes from Homer's epics or local legends with wooden horses, bronze or clay soldiers, tiny shields and spears. Meanwhile, little girls often played with beautifully crafted dolls, some with movable limbs. Dolls and dollhouses. Greek dolls were sophisticated. Many were made of baked clay, wood, or ivory. Some had jointed arms and legs, allowing for posing. Girls created miniature homes out of baskets or pottery boxes, similar to modern dollhouses. Yo-yos, invented in ancient Greece. Yes, the yo-yo is over 2,500 years old. Greek children played with discs made of wood, terracotta, or bronze. Sometimes young boys dedicated their yo-yos to the gods when they reached adulthood, a symbolic farewell to childhood play. Ancient Rome, miniature worlds of empire. Roman children lived in a world of markets, soldiers, temples, and large families. Their toys often mirrored society, small versions of adult tools, weapons, transport, and household items. Many chariots, the Mario Kart of ancient Rome. Kids raced tiny chariots pulled by strings, competing in streets and courtyards. Some chariots featured working wheels, painted symbols of gladiators or gods, miniature riders.
children recreated the excitement of the Circus Maximus on a child-sized scale. Dolls with glass eyes and jointed limbs. Roman dolls are among the most detailed ancient toys ever found. Wealthy families owned dolls with carved wooden or ivory bodies, glass or painted eyes, intricate hairstyles, tiny clothes sewn from fine fabric. Some dolls even had hidden compartments for jewelry. Board games, ludus latruniculum and tabula. Romans loved strategy games. Children learned them early using wooden or stone boards. The games taught logic, patience, and tactical thinking. Toy weapons and role play of heroes. Children practiced with wooden swords, tiny shields, small bows, and slings. They acted out heroic stories of Hercules, Achilles, or Roman generals. Play was training, storytelling, and physical skill all in one. The Maya, toys of a jungle civilization. Deep in the rainforests of Mesoamerica, ancient Maya children played with toys that reflected their environment: animals, forests, water, and sound. Animal figurines with wheels. Some of the earliest wheeled toys in the Americas come from the Maya: small dogs, jaguars, and deer with clay wheels. Children pulled them using cords made of plant fibers. Whistles, rattles, and sound-making toys. Maya toys often produced sound: bird-shaped whistles, ceramic rattles, flutes, and small ocarinas. Kids created music during festivals or played rhythms while dancing. Balls and miniature ball game toys. The famous Maya ball game was central to society. Children played with rubber balls, miniature ball courts made of clay, and tiny players. Games taught skill, teamwork, and cultural identity. Aztec. Simple, clever, and fun. Aztec children grew up in a bustling city life around Tenochtitlan. Their toys were simple but creative: clay animals and humanoid figures. Kids played with clay figures shaped like rabbits, dogs, jaguars, people dancing or hunting. Spinning tops and games of skill. Aztec tops were usually made of pottery. Kids competed to see whose top spun longest or traveled farthest. Ring toss and pebble games. Children threw small rings onto wooden pegs or competed using games similar to modern marbles. Africa. Diverse toys across a massive continent. Ancient Africa is not one civilization, but thousands. Across North, West, East, and Central Africa, children played with toys made from natural materials. Dolls of wood, fiber, and clay. African dolls reflected daily life and beauty traditions. Some represented warriors, others symbolized family or ancestry. Children cared for them dearly. Animal toys and moving figures. Kids made cows from sticks and mud, wooden giraffes, and clay lions. Many toys had movable legs or heads, controlled with strings. Many bows, toy spears, and pretend hunting. Children practice hunting games using miniature bows or small wooden spears, a safe way to learn essential skills. Rolling toys from gourds and wood. Some African regions created rolling toys using hollow gourds with sticks or wheels attached. Kids pushed them along dusty roads, laughing as they bumped and wobbled. Final reflection. The universality of play. Across deserts, jungles, mountains, and ancient cities, Children played with toys that echoed the world around them. What we see again and again is simple. Kids didn't need modern technology to find joy. They needed imagination. They needed stories. They needed miniature versions of a much larger world. A doll wasn't just cloth and wood. It was a companion. A clay animal wasn't just a figure. It was a pet, a dream, a piece of a child's universe. A wooden sword wasn't just pretend. It was the beginning of a story that child would tell their whole life. When we study ancient toys, we don't just see objects. We see childhood. Pure, curious, creative, timeless. And that's what connects us to children who lived thousands of years before us. Because no matter the era, no matter the land, no matter the culture, kids have always played, always imagined, and always dreamed. Play is humanity's oldest language, and it has never changed.